you're a new
that.
coach, you got to test your skills, right? Like I said, for me, like you're finding out who your clients are. Maybe go out and take 5 different avatars: a real estate person, person with a restaurant, single mom, relationship coaching, somebody with addiction, and go, which one of those things did I enjoy? And so, like that for
Mm,
you is research. You're like, oh, I really like these two, and I didn't do so well on those. That's worth it. Otherwise, you're going to spend money marketing and losing money. But like that's as long as you're gaining value, that's the important thing. You're both growing through the process and helping each other make progress.
okay.
Welcome to Success Leaves Clues, the podcast where we interview business owners on how they built their businesses and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is David Swin, and I'm a business coach and the founder of Purple Circle, where we help business owners achieve their first 6-figure, 7-figure, and 8-figure year, all without sacrificing their quality of life. Before becoming a business coach and before founding Purple Circle, I started and scaled several 7- and 8-figure coaching businesses and have been a consultant at several businesses doing over $100 million each, including some that are publicly listed and doing over $1 billion each. In every episode of the podcast, you're going to learn lessons that took our guests years to learn, and you'll be able to learn that in minutes. No matter if you're a new business owner or an established business owner, every episode is going to give you the clues in order to elevate your business.
Welcome to Success Leaves Clues podcast. I'm Pedro, and today I'm joined by Brett Baughman, who works with high-performing executives, entrepreneurs, founders, athletes, and creatives, dealing with one of 3 universal challenges: feeling stuck despite past success, losing inspiration and fulfillment despite growing results, or feeling overwhelmed as business demands consume every corner of life. Brett's approach goes far beyond motivation, combining executive strategy, peak performance psychology, emotional intelligence, breath work, and transformational coaching to create measurable shifts in how people think, lead, and operate. As creator of The Ideal You, Action Mastery, and Breath House, Brett has built a comprehensive ecosystem for human optimization that addresses both the internal and operational ceilings, keeping high performance from their next level. His work helps leaders reconnect with purpose, fulfillment, and peace of mind while eliminating the hidden performance patterns that quietly limit growth, even in the most successful people. Welcome to the show, Brett.
Wow, Pedro, thank you, my friend. That was incredible. I receive all that. Thank you so much, man. That made me feel good. Like, who's the guy? Wait, where's that guy? I watched that show.
Brad, you're the one to blame. Okay, I'll put it simply like that. You built that. You're on yourself. Don't throw at me. I just read through it. Okay.
Thank you, my
Now,
friend.
great to have you, man. And I am kind of a comic book nerd myself. Okay, so I love the first edition, the origin story. So let's rewind a bit, man, because every coach has that moment where they look at their life and say, "Yeah, I guess this is what I'm doing now." Right. So when was that for you?
Yeah, I luckily got started early in my life. I'll kind of shorten the long story at the beginning. My parents are my foundation. They're incredible. I'm so blessed with such a great mother and father. Like my whole life, they always gave me a voice. Every time something happened in life, they said, let's sit down, let's talk about it. They challenged me to try things. So I was always a person who was exploring it. I was given a lot of confidence young. I was given a voice very young. I have a gift for advanced communication. I've always been able to hear people and understand their stories, and just someone talks about something and I can just see like a map what's going on. And so I started out really quick going into business, like doing sales, doing call centers, doing waiting tables, managing restaurants, things like this. And I thought sales, sales, sales. And what happened very quickly was I started realizing when I was in places working that I would go in and we'd get amazing results. As soon as I would leave, I would see a dip in the performance. I was like, what's going on? What's happening? So I started researching how can I duplicate myself? Because like, how can I duplicate what I know? Like, I don't understand how to take what I'm doing and give it to somebody else. I know how to do it with them, but I can't leave it with them. And I found NLP, neuro linguistic programming. And I went to this training out here in Las Vegas where I'm at with Tad James, who became one of my greatest mentors. And I went in the first day of this practitioner, like, man, I can't wait to be the best sales trainer in the world. And by the end of the first day, I was like, oh my God, my mind literally blew open. I was like, I'm not here about sales. This is about the human person. This is about the connection of what we're doing, the potential we have. And it shifted from my mind to my heart. And I started seeing everything different. I was like, we're not selling anymore. It's the experience, and it's how somebody shows up and makes an impact in their world. And so that to me was where things really changed. And I started to see the world differently. And I started to understand my skills as a set and like, oh, this is what I'm here to do, not just something I can do.
Interesting. Call centers, right? So
Yeah.
I had my fair share. Okay.
Yeah.
A while ago, that's more than 5 years ago. I was doing 800 calls a day, right? So I get where you're coming from. When I started my first client in the US market. So that's very interesting. I love that. I actually, I really like to enter a market or join something from scratch, right?
Yeah,
Clean slate. Let's understand
I
everything. So that was mine. So we got that in common. Now, I want to understand one thing. There eventually happens what we call a shift, which is from I'm helping people in the coaching space, or this even feels like a calling or I'm advice giving to building a real business around coaching, right? Sometimes it's the first paying client, sometimes it's the first invoice, but when you feel yourself like, oh, this is legit, you know? So, how did that look like for you? I mean, what was the aha moment? Even if there was one, can you walk us through how did that look like?
Yeah, well, when you start your coaching business at the beginning, I think we all talk about this is funny. At the beginning, you take every client, right? You're like, oh, somebody wants to pay me, and they're going to pay me more than the last person. I doubled my fee from $50 to $100, and it's like, oh my god. And I remember going through that process, but I remember taking on everyone. I was very blessed that I got a lot of clients at the beginning. There was all friends were coming to me, clients, people referring people. I had a ton of business, and I thought, I'm not enjoying this anymore at all. I was like, I'm so busy. I started one thing I teach my clients now is like, don't create services in your business and don't offer to do things you don't want to be doing. Because I offered a bunch of stuff I didn't want to do and it became everything I was doing. I had 3 months booked solid of clients with services I did not want to do. I was like, oh, oops. I tried to make sure I could get people. So I offered to, I can wash floors as a coach and, they hired you to wash floors. So I started realizing I have to dial back. This is not about trying to take everybody. This is about understanding how am I supposed to serve? Where am I good at? What makes me successful as a coach and makes me happy? So I think the biggest thing that I can impart to other coaches and for myself, the shift was instead of being scared and seeking the money, I was like, what kind of lifestyle do I want to build? What kind of coach do I want to be? And what's the foundation of who I am? So I started seeking what are environments that stretch me and inspire me. So if I do the work, I want to show up because, like you said, I'm so excited to start from the beginning here. I love going to a company that's been growing and they hit a static point and they start to fall apart or things aren't growing. I can go in and like rework it, make a couple little changes and it just explodes. So I started looking for like those inspire me. I will show up every day for those opportunities. And it's more important about choosing the right people than choosing everyone. So that was a really big shift for me at the beginning. And then understanding that then my value was higher because I could make more dynamic results because I was bought into it. I had the time and again, when you're taking everybody, you're so busy, you have no time for anything. You don't really show up as the best version of yourself. You just barely show up. I was like, I'm going to give fully. So I work with a client. I'm going to take less people. I'm going to be available. I'm going to engage at a higher level. That was the big shift was don't take so many people you can talk to once a week. Take a handful of people that you can talk to 4 or 5 times a week where you're a team, where you're texting and calling and showing up and meeting. And you're like, no, we're working like we're a family. And it's like, when you need me, I'm there so much that you're like, hey, back off. I need some space to get some work done.
Do you feel like you had to go through that to realize what you just explained to me? Because the reason I say this and ask this is because there's a lot of coaches out there in the early days, right? And they were like, okay, Brad, but then you got your pipeline filled and then you can actually understand where your zone of genius is, right? Oh, I'm good. I like this. I try this. Do you feel like you had to go through that to understand from your perspective what you really want to do in the coaching space or not at all?
No, absolutely. You absolutely do. Because it's like anything in life, if you have an experience that you don't know what works and what doesn't work. I was lucky to have so many opportunities with so many different people across different ranges. I mean, I had single moms, I had startup entrepreneurs, I had high level executives, I had relationship coaching, drug addiction, everything. I was kind of like, I'm not happy when I'm doing these things. These things are overwhelming me. I can't turn this off at night, or I can't wait to get back to this thing and do this. So I started looking at, all right, what are the patterns myself? And I was like, these are the people I'm excited about. These are the people that are having dynamic results. And they're not also the ones I worked at that I really enjoyed. They started referring me more business. Hey, you're coaching me now, come in and coach my team. Now coach my friend's team. Here's this other person like, okay, this is exploding. I obviously have something here because these people are wanting to reach out and wanting me to grow what I'm doing versus me having to go and like scrap for people. And I just realized, I did a lot of work for a long time with people with like addictions, like alcoholism and drug addiction. And I have such a heart for it, but it was tough. It's not my zone of genius. I'm really good at it, but it wore me down. I carried it so much in my heart. I couldn't turn it off. And they struggle so much with rebounding, going back. And I just, man, it was like, I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere. Even though we were, it just weighed on me. And I was like, you know what? taking one client like that was like 10 clients that I was working on that was
Mm,
building something. And I was like, I don't want to step away and say somebody shouldn't do it. For me, this is not, I'm not working my best in this space. So I got to find where I can exponentially grow, where my impact has a ripple effect, not a dulling effect to me.
interesting that you went. So it feel like you had to go through it. That's
But yeah,
interesting. Now,
yeah.
let me ask you this, because as we already established, and I did that myself as a coach, and a lot of coaches do that. It's like we're trying to help the entire world, right? Put it simply like that in the
Yeah.
early days. But eventually you niche down, right? So who are the people that kept showing up today? The ones you realize, okay, this is my tribe.
Yeah. So I say high performers. A lot of people could fit in that, but it's people who are ready to step up to the plate and they're willing to do whatever it takes to exceed. That can be somebody that's starting a business. It could be somebody that's scaling a $10 million business. It's anybody that says, look, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to grow. And they're willing to shift their perspective on life. Because at the beginning, I took a lot of like high performing executives and entrepreneurs, but it was all about money, 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 money. And the thing was, they never got fulfillment. We'd have incredible results. We'd take them from making $7,000 a month to making $70,000 a month, and they weren't satisfied. They're still complaining. There's still problems. And I'm like, I didn't enjoy working with them. And I saw the thing was they wouldn't continue working because there's no end for them. So the people that kept showing up that I really enjoy, the ones that understand that it's all about impact. It's like, who am I becoming as a person? What legacy am I leaving? How is what I'm doing in my business affecting my relationship? And how am I pouring that down and cascading into my children? What they're learning is lessons for me. How am I building in my community? So people that started saying, it doesn't have to be a certain way. I just want to see progress. I want to see improvement. I'm going to look back at myself every day and say, I'm proud of the work I've done and I'm proud of the person I'm becoming.
Not just a bottom line. It sounds like we have to have a certain type of mission, that impact. We want to,
Mm,
build a legacy, something like that. Not just numbers, right? Sounds
right.
like it, something like that. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, let's pretend I'm your ICP, right? I'm one of those high performers. I have a growth mindset. Okay. So, first of all, marketing wise, how would I be able to find you, Brad?
So most people, I'm lucky that most of my clients come to me through referrals now for a long time. Like I'd say 60, 70% of my client base is referral, which is great because they're coming to me already proven concept. And also they're similar to the people I'm working with. I work with a lot of wealth managers. So they'll work for me another wealth manager. So there's an understanding to begin. But I use LinkedIn. I use people find me through Google. And a lot of it, I'll tell you, is relationship building, honestly. Even though it's about relationships. I'm not in there just blasting automated email campaigns. Everything I do is about nurturing. Like I tell people, my strategy is add value and then add value and then add more value and then add more value. Like at the beginning, like we talked about earlier, when I first started my career, I created all this stuff. I had these SOPs, I had training modules, I had books, all this stuff I made. I was so afraid to share it. Everybody's like, have the breadcrumb. You're like, oh, here's my free PDF. I'm like, I can't give you that. You got to pay me to get this information. I cannot give you a tip because if you do, you're never going to hire me. And I realized that number one, you can give somebody the answer to every problem in the world, and 90% of people won't do anything with it. Like they need somebody to guide them, to coach them, make them take action, and hold them accountable. So the thing is, I give and I give and I give. So every day I look for ways to serve. I say, what are the ships I can put out there? The things that are going to provide value, make a difference. And I look at it as when I'm feeling bad or have my biggest problems, I go, who can I help today? And I reach out. It doesn't matter if it's a fellow coach, a consultant, who it is. I just keep giving. And you build relationships. I want to be the guy that everybody says, you know what? I like that guy in my corner. Every time that guy's around, he's providing value. He shows up. He's authentic. He has integrity. He has wisdom. And he's never afraid to answer my call or to share something. And then you become the guy that everybody's like, dude, you can count on that guy. That guy knows what he's doing. At least he's somebody that'll either know it or I make sure I always have a one-step resource to whatever somebody needs. Like I want to have that next step available, not let me go search forever. It's like, oh, you need an attorney? Great. I got 3. Let me send that to you right now. Want to talk to a doctor? Got that. Wealth manager? Got it. Like I either have it or I'm able to provide the resource immediately. And then I become the guy that people come to and things start to filter through you. And the relationship is the most important thing.
Okay. Now I'm still that guy, right? I'm still your ideal client profile in this scenario. So let's say I watched your LinkedIn content through, or even through Google, I found you, or I was referred to you, right? Someone told me, hey, you got him at Brett. You gotta know him. He's awesome. And eventually I reach out. Okay. And we went through the sales process. However, that looks like, let's speed up that a little. Let's say there's alignment. Okay. You can help me. I know you guys can help me and all that. Now, how does it look like to work with you? Okay. A little peek behind curtain. And what are the outcomes I can expect out of it?
Wonderful. Well, the first thing is we build a relationship. Like I tell people when we start, we do a free consultation. I say, look, we're going to talk and get to know each other. I don't know right now whether we're the ideal fit or not. And I'll tell you that by the time you leave this call, I'm going to give you information that's going to help you on your path, whether you hire me or not. You're not going to leave this call without understanding what the next steps are. And if I feel I'm not the person, I'm going to help you find that person. Because my job is to serve, it's not to sell you, and it's not to get you as a client. It is to align with the people that I can help in life on both ends, you and I both. So we have a conversation. We start to talk about things. And I don't go into like just the normal. I'm like, let's get real. What are you afraid to talk to about with people? What's scaring you? Because if we're gonna be a team, I gotta be your best friend. I gotta be the voice you filter everything through and you trust. If you're an alcoholic, and I have a lot of executives that deal with alcoholism, they're like, you got to feel comfortable enough to hit me at 10 o'clock at night in a text and say, man, I'm right there on the edge. I'm like, I got you. So we have to build a trust at the beginning first and understand what's your life like, not the scaling, not the numbers. Who are you in your heart? And what do you desire that your blind spots that you're not aware of? Because that's where we're going to grow, right? My clients don't need another strategy. They don't need another tool. What they need is someone that's going to hold them accountable, that's going to push them, and somebody that's going to inspire them to think outside of the traps they're in right now, the patterns. So we go through that process first. And then I have a process called the Ideal You I created. And basically, we go through 6 areas of life, from your career to your relationships, your health and fitness, your personal growth, your spirituality, and your hobbies. And I'm like, look, I don't care what any of them are, but you have to have an answer in all of them. Otherwise, that empty hole becomes somewhere along the line a pitfall that will pull down the momentum or break the process. So it's like, if you make a decision in your business, it's got to help your relationships, because you grow like $10 million in your business, and guess what? Your wife wants to leave. You have no relationship with your kids anymore, or your health is going down. You've got to look at it as an entire snapshot. So we start building out that vision. And I say, I'm one of the best puzzle solvers in the world, but I have to have the pieces. So let's talk about the pieces and let's look where you have gaps, where you don't see that picture yourself. Let's start to figure out what those are supposed to be. And then can we put that puzzle together ourselves, or who's the right person to help you fill in those gaps?
I'm still the ICP here. I'm getting more questions in my head. Okay.
Right.
So here's the thing. I reach out because I want to grow my business. And now you're telling me that we have 6 areas that I need to cover. So I'm asking you now, Brett, I want to double my business, but I'm working, let's say 50, 60 hours a week. Okay. And I'm like, I don't have a lot of time with my kids, with my
Right.
wife. So that side is hobby. Oh man, that's a fantasy right now. Okay. So how do we you keep me on track? I want to double my business. That's still, maybe that's surface level, but let's say I start with this. How are we going to organize this? Even if we're talking about maybe working less, you know what I mean? How they're going to help me?
Great question. So one of the things that makes me really good at what I do that I love is I'm great at what I do, but I don't tell people what to do. I'm going to help you understand yourself better than you've ever understood yourself. That's a part of this process with the Ideal You. The first thing we do is we discover your passions, and not like, oh, I love to play the guitar. It's like, what is the guitar an expression of? What are you actually executing? Is it that you want to touch people with music? And if you do, why? So what I help people do first is understand what's driving them at an unconscious level. Most of the decisions I found people make, especially when they come to me, are decisions out of fear or limitation, right? I'm like, we don't want to do that. We don't want to solve problems. We want to follow passions, and we want to build, we want to achieve goals, accomplishments. So we start defining what's driving you. That way, when you bring me a decision, when you bring me a problem, we go, where's this coming from? Is it coming from a fear and limitation, or is this coming from an opportunity that we can take on that challenge and grow in? So my point in saying that is, if you want to scale your business, awesome. But why? Is it because you're afraid that you don't have enough money to step away and have time with your kids? Is it because you're not growing the way you want? Is it because you feel like you're losing market reach? What is the thing we understand? Because we don't want to grow from there. We want to grow from the passion and the opportunity. Then when we do that, we're able to line up the opportunities that are correct for you, because number one, they're going to build momentum. Number two, they're going to bring up the challenges you're really supposed to face. When you bring a problem to me, anybody can probably find a ton of problems, right? You don't necessarily know if that's the problem to be working on. It's just a problem that's giving you pain right now because you're focused on it. But if you can tell me your ideal dream, what your business is, your relationship, your goal, we can get clear on that. And we start building it. Once you hit a wall, and that limitation, that fear, that past pattern comes up, that is worth working on, because you see what's on the other side. You're like, oh my God, this is stopping me. I'll do anything to break through it because I know what's over there. But if it's just like, oh man, I'm not really motivated right now, I'm not focused, I'm not distracted, I feel overwhelmed. Okay, why does that matter? If you say, because if I get over this wall, I'll improve my relationship with my wife, I can help my kids grow into I can be a better parent than I ever was, and I'll be able to reach $10 million in my company where I can impact thousands of lives. Now, there's no way you're not going to break through that wall, and I can continue to use that as an accountability, as a trigger, as a motivator to help you move. So we have to understand deeper what's building you as a person. that every decision you make, when you make that decision in business, it's going to cascade and it's going to improve your relationships, it's going to improve your health. And we also know what's the right one to make, because if you don't, it's bringing down the health. Now you're off, you're sick, and you can't focus on the job. Now you're stressed out. Now your mind's off. So it's just this kind of harmonizing and making sure everything is working together as one big picture.
Okay, interesting. We're going really deep here. Okay, now I have a question for it. Sort of a curveball here, Brad, which is something I usually do because I see a lot of coaches out there advocating against burnout, right? And your work seems pretty hands-on and pretty customized to an extent.
Yeah.
So a lot of coaches out there are wearing all the hats. They're a sales guy, they're the marketer, they're doing the operations, they're doing the coaching and all that, business development. So how do you think about capacity so you don't stretch yourself too thin?
Yep.
Keep yourself in check.
Yep. Well, currently, in the climate we're in right now, it's a little different than it was 10 years ago. Like the past 3 years with the development of AI, we've got a lot of different things that are helping us assist now. And these are one of the things I'm really good at. I get brought into a lot of companies, take a position for a period of time, like as a COO or interim CEO, to help with operations. And so I do the same thing for myself. So basically, number one is I go back to my own passions, like we talked about a minute ago. I want to show up as the best version of myself. I got to give you 100%. I can't give you the version of Brett that I wouldn't hire to do the work for me, right? So that means I have to understand, what is my lifestyle look like? What is my balance? How much time can I give to something? And I have to stay in that formula. You got to stay true to that. When you operate in that formula and it works well, you can understand where you can stretch and scale. But it can't be pushed just because you want to make more money. The challenge I face personally, everybody wants to work with me. So if I try to bring in other coaches or people underneath me, there's only so much bandwidth I have, right? People want me, and there's only so much time I have, and there's only so much time that allows me to be in that ideal spot for myself. So the things I've done is learn how I can duplicate my process or augment my process through things I can delegate. I have a full-time assistant. She's incredible. I believe that every coach should get an assistant that works with you at whatever level. Maybe it's a couple hours a week. Take away the tasks. And listen, if you're a coach, you're like, oh, I'm at the beginning, I'm making money. You're going to be so afraid of this. But I'm telling you, I've done it. We all do it. You'll spend 5 or 10 years and you'll finally do it and go, oh my God, I should have done this 5 or 10 years ago. Find someone that works even 2 or 3 hours for you a week and does the things you are the absolute worst at that you do not enjoy doing. Like for me, going in and answering DMs or going in and making connections, it's not the best use of my time. Filling out certain paperwork things that don't require me, that I need to let go of. So I found somebody that said, take off the administrative things for me. If that's 10 hours a week, that's 10 hours I can pour into my clients, or I can get a new client and build. So you got to get real with what are the things you should not be doing. I guarantee there's 10 to 20% that you can afford to get rid of, because right now, not only is it taking the actual real time from you, it's taking the bandwidth and cause you to be frustrated. So when you show up, you're never your best. You're spending 2 to 3 times more a week than you should. That's number one. And the second is learning how to augment with AI right now. I mean, I've been training in AI and ChatGPT, I call Scarlett, for 3 years. I spend 10 to 12 hours a day with her. She knows everything about me, my life, my clients. So I don't have her replace me for anything. People, again, want me, but she augments. So like if I write content, I'll give her the content that I have for a week and say, hey, here's the 2 or 3 pieces I'm doing. Here's a video and here's 2 posts I'm doing. Is there anything I'm missing? Is there any statistics I should add? Is this keeping a flow based on what we did last week? I'll have her pull analytics from LinkedIn and say, who's responding? Does this fit into what people are looking at? So she's giving a response and saying, yeah, you're on target. This is what people are asking for. She doesn't write the content, but she's like a marketing advisor, a publicist that says, hey, you're on track, your data's right. And these are little things you can start to build. I've automated my onboarding process with AI. So somebody comes in and handles everything and goes all the way through. Those things are big. You don't realize it, but they polish your business so you show up more professional, and they give you a sense of pride and a lot more time back.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. I want to shift gears for a second. We were talking about the early days, right? And you're trying to help everyone, and that's a classic. Now, one thing I see a lot of coaches out there struggling is about a topic, kind of a hot one, which is pricing. But we don't have to talk about hard numbers here. It's more about the mindset behind it, right? Because it's a very self-worth path. I've seen coaches burning themselves out with the topic specifically while trying to do pro bono, right? They're offering their services for free and people are not taking it. People are not doing it. And they're like thinking, hey, if they're not doing it for free, would eventually anyone pay for it, right? And in my opinion, that's kind of backwards, because people, when they sometimes look at things that are for free, they have this perception of worthless.
Yeah.
But I want to hear from you. How do you think about that topic, specifically pricing? Were there any lessons along the way that shaped how you landed where you are right now?
Excellent. Love that. I think this is really valuable for people. share this a lot with coaches. So number one, if you're starting out as a coach, I think it is okay to take maybe 3 to 5 people for pro bono. But if you don't just go coach them for free, what you do is you have to sign an agreement and you say, here's what you're giving me in return. You give me a testimonial, like on paper, on Google, you're going to give me a video testimonial, and you're going to give me 3 people that you're going to introduce me to directly. You have to hold them accountable to that. As a coach, it's really easy to say, I'll coach you for free, just give me a testimonial. And then they don't, and you just let it go. And you're not building your business. Now I'm talking early stages. This is the first 3 months of your business. Then you got to get out of it. In the first 3 months, you should have 5 people you worked with, 5 testimonials, 5 video testimonials, and 15 to 20 people they referred you to. Just giving you warm-up practice. After that, that's over. After that, you've got to start charging. People will see you for the value you charge. And here's the thing: people get so scared. Like I'm a premium coach. I'm on the higher end. But the thing is, people come into me, and if I want to drop it and work with somebody, I may be really passionate about what they bring me. And I've had some guys who are veterans have come to me, and man, they're going through stuff. They're heroes. I'm like, you know what? What's your budget? And I figure something out, and I change my program. I'll say, maybe you're getting weekly coaching calls with me, like we're doing a couple touches a week and all this stuff. And I'll say, you know what? For you, I'll do this every other week. Let's cut it in half. Let's find a way to make it work for you, because I want to choose to do that. But I still charge the premium of what I want, and I start the conversation there. 90% of my people have no problem with that. You've got to understand that what you ask for represents your value. And it also represents the avatar, the type of client you're trying to bring in. So you need to be charging. And the thing is, it's exponential. Man, I used to charge people $500 like maybe 12 years ago, something like that, $500 a month. And I had a couple people I worked with. I took from $7,000 to $50,000 to $70,000 over a month or two with their business. And guess what? I didn't make any more. I wasn't getting anything of it. Now I also take a back end. If I'm working with somebody and I'm helping consult their company, I'm taking a 0.5% or 1% of the growth that we can determine that I did. So you're paying me monthly, and I'm getting a percentage of the growth, because it's like I'm a part of that process. And you can't be afraid to do that. It makes people respect you. And if someone was working with you on the other end, you'd want the same thing. But unconsciously, if you devalue yourself, you don't set yourself up like a business, people are not going to take you serious. And at some point, they're going to drop off, and they don't believe you're a part of what the process is. If you clarify and say, here's my fee, because I know I'm going to present this to you and create this, and here's what I want if I help you grow, they go, okay, this guy's serious. If we don't get there, you won't get there. But if we do, I was a part of it. So what you can expect out of me as a deliverable, number one, is I guarantee within the first week or two, you're going to clearly say to me, I am looking at life differently. I have a different mindset. I'm feeling more motivated. I'm feeling healthier. I'm more aware of the things that I was doing, my patterns. So whether I'm improving them right now or not, I'm aware of every pattern. I'm catching it when it's coming up. Ooh, I'm doing that thing again. Here's where I'm making the mistakes. So we can clearly say, okay, I can tell you, Brett, I am doing these things. This is what's costing me. That's absolutely in the first couple of weeks. Within 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to have a totally different perspective on how you balance your life and what your priorities are. Because most people's priorities are jacked up. Like what they're going for is not the most important thing. They're facing fears. They're facing limitations. They're making that the priority. They just want it to be external and be money. And the thing is, there's never an end goal when you feel like you don't have enough. But when you start going, man, I'm further along than I thought I was. Let me build from a place of gratitude. Let me look at all the resources I have and say, maybe if I just reorganize my life, I'll have joy again. And then we build, and it's all gold bricks. It's not, trying to break down a wall that seems like it's never ending.
Okay. A couple of reminders. I love that, man. I mean, first of all, whenever you're a business owner and you have that crossroad of having different, and you're in an early day of business owner, you're like, oh, I'm not being fair to my clients because I'm charging them different, prices. Dude, it's your business. Don't forget about that.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you feel like it. If you want to charge a person $1 and another $10,000, there is nothing wrong with it.
It's what you're giving them, right? If I help a guy that has a $10 million a month company and we make a shift, so no joke, I have clients where I've worked with them recently where we're talking about, we're doing mergers with their companies. They're making 5 or 10 million a year. We're working on mergers to make $50 to $100 million mergers. So yeah, my fee may be higher for them, but they're going to make $50 million this year. So if I charge somebody half of that or a quarter of that, that person's not making 50 million. They might be going from like $5,000 to $10,000. It's also the amount of time. So it's the impact you're making. It's not about the fee you're charging. And like if somebody is right now can barely feed themselves or their family and they're stressed out and they feel suicidal, and I can get them inspired by life and stable and making money and starting to start a new business, that impact is unbelievable. And that impact lasts for a lifetime. It's not just the moment, that's going to last for a lifetime. So you can't look at it like, oh, this fee determines everything. The fee is what we agree on to show up right now. The difference I make, the impact you make, you'll never be able to measure.
It's about
And
a
it's evergreen.
transformation, right?
It's evergreen information. What you get from me, you're going to use. I had a guy that called me a week and a half ago. We worked together like 12 years ago, 11, 12 years ago. He's like, man, I want to let you know I'm using everything you gave me every day still. He's like, my kids are now doing the NLP and the affirmations, all the things you taught me. His kids are in high school. They're top of their class because they're using the tools I taught him 12 years ago. So how do you measure that?
Right. Okay. And also, I really love the pro bono talk we had. You're just changing the exchange, right? You're changing from currency to a different thing for testimonials, for referrals, and they have value. And on top of that, I would also add, sometimes I saw coaches doing it, is piloting something. Like you're not
Yeah.
100% sure, you can pilot that offer with a pro bono client. So
If
there's
you're a new
that.
coach, you got to test your skills, right? Like I said, for me, like you're finding out who your clients are. Maybe go out and take 5 different avatars: a real estate person, person with a restaurant, single mom, relationship coaching, somebody with addiction, and go, which one of those things did I enjoy? And so like that for you is research. You're like, oh, I really like these two and I didn't do so well on those. That's worth it. Otherwise, you're going to spend money marketing and losing money. But like that's, as long as you're gaining value, that's the important thing. You're both growing through the process and helping each other make progress.
Okay. Now, let's shift gears for a second, real quick. Okay. Because I'm curious where you're taking all this, Brett. Looking ahead, where do you see the business going? Are you thinking about scaling, hiring, or is there a next step you're excited?
Yeah, a lot. I got to pump the brakes on my excitement on growth. The 2 things I'm really working on right now is number 1, I'm starting a podcast of my own soon, which I'm really excited about. We'll be launching in the next probably 3 months. I'm doing a bunch of podcasts like this. I'm also building up a library of people that I'm interviewing that I've worked with in the past. So the podcast will be called What Were You Thinking? And the nice part is I'm taking all these people that worked with me and came in. What were you thinking when you started? What were you thinking when you came to me and asked, did you want to scale your business to here, and what difference did it make? Or what were you thinking when you started that nonprofit or that charity? And so people that are making an impact and understanding, again, what we're talking about here is how do you shift your mind away from monetary into impact and legacy? So I'm really excited about that because 1, it's something exciting to do, but also it's amplifying the work I've done, but more importantly, it's amplifying the work they're doing in the world. So it brings awareness to all the things that they're doing. It helps shed light on their causes and their missions. And then the other part that parlays into that is I have a nonprofit called the Bridge Foundation, which these 2 things are going hand in hand. The Bridge Foundation is about bringing in other nonprofits and charities and helping them grow. So I'm working with different groups like Wounded Warriors, St. Jude, and stuff like that. So like bringing awareness, because a lot of people start a nonprofit or a charity or have some mission, and it's such a great mission that they have to help people, but they don't know how to run a business. So maybe they're doing events and trying to do things and nobody's even aware of it. And they're putting all these incredible events and making a difference, but it's small. So I understand how to grow a business. So I'm like, look, let me bring in your nonprofit. Let me help you understand how to shed light on this. Let me bring awareness to it. Let me bring more people that maybe want to be behind your cause, but didn't even know you exist. So everything I'm doing right now is about bringing more light to service, starting conversations where people can start to talk about impact, legacy, their faith, how they want to show up in the world, health and wellness. And so we spread out what we're doing, and it creates a society of people that harmonize together and work together to really make a difference.
Okay. Exciting. Okay. I can see the spark in your eyes. I got excited too. I got to hold myself back. Let me ask you this one last question. Okay. Let's say we had a time machine in front of us and you could step in and go back 27 years back, right? When you started your business, you have one piece of business advice you can give yourself about the coaching journey specifically. What would that be?
That's beautiful. That's such a great question. Trust yourself. Just trust yourself. The thing was, at the beginning, there's 2 things I did that I don't do now. Number 1 was I was really competitive. Like I felt like I had to, it's one of the things that at Edge that made me successful at first. I was always the top salesperson at places. And so I took that out and I was like, always trying to be the best call center, the best mortgage guy, the best sales guy. And so, like I said, I would hold back information, feeling like I can't give this to you because if you do, you're going to steal it. Or I can't give it to anybody. Like I can't give them a PDF or a free book or a tip because you got to pay me for it. And I realized that was not the right strategy at the beginning. It cost me years of understanding and going, just serve, give. My thing now is just add value all the time. That was the first thing. And the second thing I would say is to remember that nobody's journey is going to be like your journey. You can learn from other people, but you need to look more at how they did something rather than what they did. What was their attitude? Like, you'll hear people all the time when they say, like, when I really broke success was I believed in myself. I started doing what I wanted to do. I let go of this stress. And so the thing is learn from the wisdom of others, but you're going to build your own path. That's what makes you successful. I'm not like anybody else. My business is not like anyone else's. And that's why people come to me, is because they hear my voice and go, oh, that guy knows something I don't know. I can understand that he understands my world, not because I'm trying to be a Tony Robbins or a whoever else. It's I'm being me. And so at the beginning, I was trying to be other people. I was trying to compete with everybody else. And I would just let go, enjoy the process, and find out how to serve, just serve. And the more you give, man, the more you give in this world, the more you give back for sure. Just give, 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 give.
Okay, I love that, man. Great reminder. Now, if someone listening wants to connect with you or follow your work, Brett, and we're going to have all the links in the description, but what's the best way to find you and connect with you?
I would say go to my website. It's easy, just my name.com. So brettbaughman.com. Everything is there. If you search my name, you're going to find me every place, but that's a good one. I think we've done a really good job on my website too, to explain the story of who I am and what we do with work and how I can help you and the different things I offer. So I think it answers a lot of questions, and we've also done a good job of providing a lot of value in there. I want people to go there and also be able to say, you know what? Just look at your website. I got some answers. I can go do something today without hiring the guy. I already can get help. So I think that's the best way.
Okay, so let me spell that back for our audience who are listening. It's BrettBaughman, brettbaughman.com. And Brett, there were a few moments from this chat today that I feel the urge to highlight, okay? First of all, let's go back to the origin story. When you realize you're not selling anymore, you want to be of service, right? So in a way, it's shifting, because I went through that. I was in sales too. And that happened to me. When you shift the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset, which is like, dude, I'm going to this cool place. If you want to hop on, be my guest, but I'm going either way, right? It's like, I'm going to help you anyway. I never lose a sale. I'm going to be of service for you. And you're going to realize that there's something off with me, because people, sometimes they're like, what's up with this guy? Like, he's not trying to push me or sell me. No. It doesn't work like that, at least on my end. Okay. So I love the reminder. Also, second, when you were like talking about your early days and you were like, hey, I was trying to help everyone, right? And eventually you realized you were looking for people that wanted to create impact, because that energizes you. You know, I really, really, really like that, because we're here at Purple Circle all about impact too. So you got that going on. And the last but not least, I would say when we're talking about free stuff, and I'm going to hold back some stuff so people are not going to try to do on their own and a lot of that. So that's kind of a scarcity mindset. But I would say people don't realize that first, whenever they buy you, even if you add value, they're buying you. They're buying your energy. That's irreplaceable. Even if you have a lot of PDFs or videos out there, sometimes they just want to talk with you, man. You know how it goes, right? They're like, this guy's so cool, man. I should give him back something, because he helped me so much already. Now, that's one. The other one, and I think that this is helpful for other coaches listening, is because usually there's a missing piece of the puzzle that they don't really know how to connect with their own situation. And it just so happens you're that guy, right? You already, been there, done that. They present you with like, okay, I've seen your stuff. How do I add to my own? How do I connect with my own problems? And you can navigate that easily. Now, Brett, this is just my long-winded way of saying that I appreciate what you do, man. And I appreciate being here and sharing so openly today, okay? It was great having you on.
Pedro, thank you, man. This is great. I really enjoy your style of questions and your questions. And, it's like I do a lot of podcasts, do a lot of these things, and you can tell that you're actually here and listening. You're really part of this. And we're having a conversation. That's one of the things I love. And one thing that I think that makes me good as a coach is, like I said, is like, I'm not selling, but I'm showing up. I'm like, let's have a relationship. I'm not trying. I have no expectation, no agenda. My only agenda is like, how can I make a connection with this person, understand where we're supposed to go on this journey? I think you do an excellent job of doing this on all of your podcast interviews here. So I commend you for that. And thank you, man. It was a joy today.
I appreciate you, man.
That's it for this episode. This episode, as well as this podcast, was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help business owners elevate their business to 6, 7, and 8-figure years, all without burning out. If you're looking to grow your business, as well as get the time freedom that you are looking for, visit us at joinpurplecircle.com and see what we can do to help you and your business.